Let's go, Sue. Let's go, Sue. Yeah, in the house. Hey.
Woohoo! Oh, I see Walter. You're looking good there, Walter Williams.
You know how to dance. I have no idea. Yeah, let's go, Sue.
Expense, Miss Lambert.
I see you.
Hey, I didn't say that. Michelle did. Officially start the 53rd annual AKSNA conference. This is going to be an experiment, but everybody, we're just going to have fun. Got some good speakers coming. So I'm going to go over a few housekeeping rules before we get started. Just remember to keep yourself muted. We don't want to hear any background noises. So if everybody could put themselves on mute, that would be fantastic. If you want to say something, just raise your hand, and the reaction bar down at the very bottom of your screen, there should be a reaction bar. It's got like raise your hand, clap your hands. So you can do that, or enter a comment in the chat box, and hopefully that will get someone's attention besides me because I'm driving blind here. I've got like 3 screens and I don't know where the heck I am at. So that's all I have for housekeeping. So what else is there? So we're going to start with Jo Dawson. She's the program director for child nutrition programs for the state of Alaska. And she's going to do an update on the state agency. So, Jo, if you're ready, yay!
Thank you for attending the Alaska School Nutrition Conference. On behalf of AKSNA and the state agency, we obviously have a very strong partnership, and we're glad to see so many people try this virtual attempt at this conference. Sue and the entire conference committee have really put a lot of effort into trying to make something that was creative, informative, and a little bit different, but something to help make up for this time of year when we normally are getting together. And one of my favorite parts of the conference is just the time I get to spend meeting you. And the people who know me best know that I try to sit at different tables. I usually sit with my staff. I usually try to just meet people because I don't get out in the field very much anymore. And, it's how I get to know you guys a little better. And I love our Alaska School Nutrition Conference. I love the association. It was, this week, a year ago, we were all in Anchorage together. And I remember on the news that the plane was coming from Wuhan, China to California, stopping in Anchorage to refuel, and having that moment like, this like made me really serious. And really, who knew at that point, who knew a year ago what we would have all gone through? And it's been a long year. It's been a really long year. I just have to say, I know I've said it before, but I commend you all. You're my heroes. You guys have done so much. I know, when this hit the fan, we spent a lot of time, a lot of very late nights in the office, working on the waivers, but you all were the ones, writing your waivers, trying to figure out how to make this happen, how to keep feeding kids in your communities. And there was so much that went into that. So thank you, on behalf of the state, on behalf of the state agency, and for children across the state. I do thank you for everything you've done. whether you're front line, back of the house, front of the house, everyone, pulling together to make this happen. So part of this, I just want to kind of talk about that. We were really fortunate that just kind of reading some of the handwriting on the wall, we started putting waivers in really early to USDA, and we were approved on the first day for a state waiver on March 6th. Us and Washington, we were the first states. It was before USDA was issuing any national waivers at all. And our first one was for non-congregate feeding, so that those meals could go. And that was something that, we just didn't happen. The last time we'd had non-congregate feeding was during right after the earthquake in Anchorage and Matsu. And that was a very short-term thing. We didn't know how long this was happening, but we knew that we were getting to a point where we needed to look at how can we do meals to go. And so we were able to get that waiver in that first week of March, approved March 6th. And well before schools were closed, it was when schools were wondering if they were going to need to close. But it gave us time to work with many of you on what are you going to do if. And there was a lot of contingency planning. And it gave us, we thought, the luxury of time. We didn't know that the next week, on the 13th, that the governor was going to announce schools to be closed temporarily the very next week, March 16th. So we had a little time, which helped. It helped that we weren't all doing it at the same time at the last minute. And then right after that happened, we were one of the first states to get the area eligibility waiver too. And that meant not only could meals be to go, but that we no longer had to look at free and reduced price data in order to be able to meet the needs of the children in our communities. So again, we just were able to be forward thinking. Just the stars aligned for us. And I thank you all for talking to us. And that's, that was a big part of it is, what I was hearing from you. The parent guardian pickup, we wrote a waiver for that. The national one came out before we were approved for it. But without you guys, really being able to communicate and saying what you need and able to serve children, we're able to go to USDA and go to bat for you. And that's why I always think of us as, we're a regulatory agency, but we're also a liaison. We're, helping make regulations work for you. And when they don't work, we're going back to USDA to say, not working for Alaska, not working in this situation. So we always really want to encourage, that communication. So last spring, we saw that big transition from NSLP into the summer feeding program, which, we kind of call that disaster feeding program. We had the weekend meals, enhanced rates, which, has been very helpful right now. And again, that area eligibility, and that came out, at the national, the national level later. And so we're able to kind of look at when you're doing the meals to go. And then we had other options for those, like for right now, where you were serving in-house and having those flexibilities, like offer versus serve. Under NSLP, you want to waive offer versus serve because maybe you want something prepackaged. Under summer food, you need a waiver to actually implement offer versus serve. So, having those options, with the milk, with the meal pattern, and just we really wanted to come up with enough flexibility that every district can design the program that they need to be able to meet the needs in their community. And so, we've seen every different option out there. Some of you, I've shared this data, in the spring, we had about a 30% reduction in meals. This past fall, it's been much more significant than that. Some of the common factors, for those districts who have been serving more meals, are having those options and being able to. And that's why not every school district has the capacity for all those options. But, if you're able to do, the deliveries, the bus routes, if you're able to do bulk meals, if you're closed for a week and you're able to do all of your meals at one time, those are where we're seeing the increase in meals. But not everyone has that capacity. So therein lies that flexibility with the waivers. I really I'm trying to make sure people are aware of many of those waivers expire in June. We don't know if they'll be extended, but that could be very impactful for those of you who plan on going into the summer months, is to keep aware, keep alert, to know what you're signing up for, because a congregate feeding program versus a non-congregate feeding program is very different in the summer. As well, we're expecting some training challenges. People have hired new staff in this interim, and they know the program is one way, but now, when we go back to following the rules, it's another way. I think with children, even, we're going to have kind of retraining on, what the program really looks like when we're following all the rules the way that USDA rolls those out. Okay, and then I want to talk a little bit about funding and resource opportunities. We are just entering our 4th year of a CDC grant that we have for, this is a big one, improving academic success through nutrition, physical activity, and managing chronic health conditions. That's a long one. This past year, we also got a COVID-19 supplementary grant from CDC to go along with that. We're working with a few districts who had wanted some special technical assistance, but really we've been putting a lot of resources towards our partner agencies, such as the After School Network, the Alaska After School, the Sports Activities Association, the School Board Association, School Health here with their trauma engaged framework, the school nursing department. So we've been really putting a lot of money towards training and resources that our partners need at school to make sure that the training is out there and available to keep schools healthy, to keep everything operating the way it should be, making sure that we're being safe with all the new protocols, and that staff are trained on what to do. So that's been a really amazing grant. Kite Cole is our lead on that, and she is I'm so thankful to have her able to do that. As well, we have a farm to school grant, so please look for information on that coming this spring for those of you who are interested in subgrants. As we come out of this and want to start re-engaging children in those local food activities. As well, our State Department of Natural Resources, Division of Ag, is rolling out their local mini grants. And I believe those are $5,000 each, perhaps $10,000 if you're partnered with a community agency. So for those who are thinking about gardens, things like that, that's another resource out there. Team Nutrition, we're looking at writing another grant application for that. We've been getting more requests for local food recipes. So that would be the direction we're going on that. If anyone is interested in working on that with us on helping develop local food recipes, even compiling recipes that are in need, please reach out to me. We're always looking for, committee members, which also means unpaid work, but, it all works. Equipment grants were reissued in the most recent legislation, so do look for those again this next fall. I'm really glad to see equipment grants stay in the budget. As well, we have we're supposed to be done with our CACFP training grant, but it got COVIDed for the year, and we are looking at more online training for CACFP. So for those of you who administer CACFP or are interested in more training, Anne Marie's been working with the Institute of Child Nutrition to do some distance training for us. It won't be quite the same as what we had, which was, a healthy cuisine, like a 2-day cooks training with culinary math, I think was the other aspect of it. So we are, instead of hands-on, I think we'll be doing virtual, but we do look for that information coming pretty soon because our year is running out. The stimulus legislation that passed last month brought some more program developments. Much of this we're waiting for additional information on. We have PEBT. I know most of you are familiar with the PEBT that went out in the spring. It is reauthorized. It was reauthorized on December 28th, and we are working with our state Department of Department of Health and Social Services Public Assistance Agency, because we do need to work together. So that should be submitted to USDA. I'm guessing in the next month. There's an allowance in the legislation for childcares. We had assumed it would be under CACFP providers, but it looks like it's going to be going through licensing. So for those of you who are schools with CACFP, I wouldn't anticipate you would really be seeing anything on PEBT on that. Like I said, the legislation said that guidance would be, within 30 days of enactment. By my calendar, that's Thursday. I'm still waiting to see that guidance. I'm very excited to eagerly anticipating that guidance. Let's see here. The emergency funding, I think this is something that many of us are very interested in. And this allowed funds to help make whole child nutrition, both schools and childcare, who had a revenue shortfall as a result of COVID-19. I wish I could talk about it again. Guidance within 30 days of enactment. So hopefully by Thursday, I've got information that I can share with you on that. I'm assuming for schools, at least, I don't know how it's going to work for childcare, but for schools that it would be based on your single audits, because there is a school nutrition breakout on the audit. And so I would think that they would be looking at that. But that's about as far as I can hypothesize. I'm not sure the amount of money, the process of that. So as ever, I think as a state agency, we try to be transparent on everything. I win no awards by keeping anything from you. I'd rather be able to share it with you. And then again, you guys tell me what works, what doesn't work, so that we can, kind of communicate that. But I do hope to have that information shortly. Here's a weird one. The NSLP meal pattern. I had to actually go, when I was writing this PowerPoint, I had to go through tons of old legislation just to try to rebuild a timeline for myself, because I couldn't, it felt like a ping pong ball. Like, what the heck is going on with the meal pattern? So I wrote it all out just in case anyone else was wondering as much as I was. I just needed to put it out there. So, so there you go. In April of this past year, a court did strike down those flexibilities that Secretary Perdue had built in when he was appointed under the Trump administration. And so there's proposed rule out there, I believe, earlier this week, maybe Monday, maybe it was last week, was the deadline to submit comments on reinstating those meal pattern flexibilities. And I even had to write down what they were because it had just gotten so confusing in my mind. So again, that was extending your target for sodium target 2 and eliminating target 3 on sodium, reducing the whole grain requirements to be only 50% of the grains to be whole grain. The other 50% had to at least be enriched grain, and then allow for low fat flavored milk, because as of 2012, all flavored milk had to be non-fat. So there you go. That's where that's where that's at. And I'll again let you know when I hear anything more on that. I'm sure it'll come out in a either probably an interim rule or perhaps a final rule, but we should see something in the next couple months on that. I think the fortunate thing, you know, is I was thinking about not just this part of the meal pattern, but, you know, the summer food meal pattern that many folks are able to follow right now. The menus that I see, I don't see school strength too far away from the NSLP meal pattern. And, you know, we know it's a healthy meal pattern. For those of us who have been doing this for very long, you know the old negative feedback we had gotten on, you know, school meals being too high in fat, too high in calories. And so I'm really seeing a lot of those good practices, you know, from the past decade still really in practice. So my hope is, you know, whichever way this goes, whichever meal pattern we're doing in the fall, that it's really not a huge training issue for your staff, that it's not a huge procurement issue, that you've got, you know, food items that don't quite meet the requirements. Just some dates to keep in mind. At the end of the month, we've got your verification and February 1st is your verification report. The 29th is your after school snack or at-risk meals monitoring. Summer food training is coming up at the end of March, beginning of April. And then Anne Marie wanted me to make sure to let you all know that as of October, the CACFP ounce equivalents for grains would be going into effect. So just some dates to have in there. Normally, my presentation is chock full of data and statistics, because if you know me, you know I love a good bar chart or pie charts, bar graph. I mean, I like my data. I don't really have that this year because there's so many different trends and so many different directions. It's kind of hard to lasso it, I would say. Fortunately, if you're a data wonk like me, on Thursday, I believe, Gavin Northey is going to do a presentation on his master's report, which is an amazing look at some great data that he did in the with the Anchorage School District. So, so if you like data, like I like data. So right now, I didn't look if there's any questions in the chat, but if there, I can't even find the chat, for God's sakes.
There aren't, Joe.
Okay. Anyone can unmute themselves if they've got any questions for me. I hear no questions. Here's our contacts. If you're ever, you know, wondering who we are, where we are a mighty staff of 10 here to help you out, get you all the federal money you deserve, make sure you're trained up. And all right. Well, I think with that, Sue, I can hand it off to you. You like that?
Let's begin here. To start out with, Amber, are you taking notes now? Amber Colvin is our treasurer. So I'm calling the business meeting to order at 1:26 p.m. on January 26, 2021. And I need to do a change on the agenda. I would like to move the public Policy and Legislation Committee report and the Member Services report down to below new business, because that's the way my slides are and I don't want to change them. So if somebody could motion that.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Seconded.
Can you tell your name so Amber knows who you guys
Sorry,
are?
this is Bethany Whalen.
Okay. And Sandy, was that you that seconded?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so the agenda has been approved, modified. So let me continue on with the president's report. That's my part. I am the AKSNA president until August. of 2021, and then Sandy Ponte takes over. Yay. So I'd just like to do like a recap of what 2019-2020 year looked like. We held our annual conference in Anchorage, and it was very well attended, and the vendors commented that it was one of the better vendor shows on their end. And we promoted and participated in the SNA Award program by nominating the Alaska Director of the Year and Alaska Manager of the Year, which we will talk about later on in the meeting. Due to the pandemic, the SNA annual conference in Nashville, Tennessee was canceled, which was a real bummer. I had all kinds of plans. But SNA held a virtual conference in May, and several of the board members attended that. We awarded the first AKSNA High School Graduation Award to the Bristol Bay Borough School District's graduating senior, Tatiana Wilson, who her mother is Teresa Wilson, who is our AKSNA treasurer. She received $750 cash award to help with her educational expenses. So those are some of the highlights that happened in 1920. So our plan of action for 2021 was to have our annual conference and vendor show virtually, which we are doing now. Hopefully it will be a success. We're going to participate again in the SNA Award program by nominating the Alaska Director of the Year and Manager of the Year. I'll go into that more also. That is something that you can do as an AKSNA member. You can nominate your fellow employee or your supervisor. So we'll get into that. We're going to send the president and the president-elect to the annual conference in Chicago, Illinois, which is scheduled to be held during July 11th through the 13th. We will also provide an AKSNA member a scholarship to attend. We'll do a drawing for that. But the possibilities of that happening are slimmer every day. They still have to have it on their books because they're under contract with the venues, but I don't, they will have a virtual one, or maybe even a hybrid. They were talking about maybe doing a hybrid with virtual and in person. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. And we're going to recognize any eligible dependent of an active AKSNA member who obtains either their high school diploma or their GED certification. And they are going to be enrolled in a post-secondary institution or vocational education program with a one-time gift, and that amount will be determined at the time of the award. So those are our main plan of action for 2021. So right now, if I could get Teresa Wilson to just do a short treasurer's report. Is Teresa on?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Great.
Okay, sorry, I got a new laptop. My other one crashed.
Oh.
So I haven't used the mic on it yet.
Yeah.
So we are still sitting really good. You know, I mean, COVID affected a lot of people. However, we're not traveling. We're not going anywhere. We're not spending any money. So we're still sitting around the same as we've always have. Nothing much has changed this year, and I don't expect anything major to come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're still doing good.
Okay. Do you have the actual amounts?
I do. It's the checking's sitting at $79,737, and the savings is still at $1,831. And then we have the two CDs.
Two CDs.
Which I do not have those amounts. I have not gotten those in a while, actually. I should ask the bank for a copy.
Yeah, I keep meaning to go to the bank, but that's a whole different story. All right. Well, thank you, Teresa. Yeah, we're looking good. Okay. So on to committee reports. I'm going to bypass legislation and member services. Gavin, do you want to talk about Mush on News and the webpage?
If you go to our AKSNA homepage, www.aksna.org, we've been working on improving it over the last couple of years. Right now, if you go to our page, as you navigate around, there's now a 15% chance of finding Bernie on our page. We have Bernie up here above the search, right below the search bar.
Oh, I see him.
And he'll show up at random as you navigate throughout our page. So a couple things I want to highlight. Sue mentioned that we have the high school graduation award program, and that's again been renewed for this year. So you can go onto our webpage and you'll see it here on the rolling carousel. So if you click here, you'll find the high school graduation program award program, and you'll find all of the rules and the application to fill out and submit. There's a deadline of April 1st on that one. You'll also find a link to the conference. So if you go here, you'll find our conference with a short intro video from MGM. Hopefully you're all registered. If you haven't and you're just bogarting somebody else's Zoom, don't forget to fill out the attendee registration form. You can also get to the virtual expo from this page, or find the conference schedule here. If we navigate back to the homepage, you can find on the homepage a link to the virtual show from here. You can also find it from that conference page. So you'll see the virtual show link here, and we'll leave that up for probably a month. So we'd like to thank, of course, our generous sponsor, Charlie's Produce, is our diamond sponsor, and then our gold sponsors here. You can also filter this. I think there's 51 people on this page. So if you want to filter, you can just use the buttons at the top to easily filter down by sponsor level and then scroll to the sponsor. If you click on any of these pages, I think Wild Mike's had a really complete page. You'll find information. A lot of our vendors have submitted videos. You'll find contact information. If there's any attachments that the vendor has sent us, we have those available as well. Usually it's right below the video link. And then you'll also find a link to the vendor's webpage and all of their social media links. So definitely feel free to click around, and please support all of our generous sponsors. Otherwise, as many of you guys know, we've moved to a quarterly release of the Mush on News. And so hopefully we're trying to focus on quality versus quantity here. And one thing I just want to remind everyone, please feel free, if you have something, whether it's photos or a short article, please feel free to submit those to the Mush on News, and it's just news@aksna.org. Any contributions from members are great. It helps us share the success of our members and tell people what it is that we're doing. Let other people know that, you know, maybe we're suffering from the same struggles as well, and help share some ideas and collaborate on solutions to those struggles. So again, you can find that here. And for example, the last issue is always on the rolling carousel, but you can always click on the Mush on News link at the top of the homepage to see all of the past Mush on News issues. So that's the last one. So with that, that covers my report. I think you have to click the button to still the screen share back.
Yeah. Thank you. You've done a really good job on that. Joe, did you want to do a quick Facebook report?
Sure. So we have had a lot of engagement this past month is what it gives me. We've had 120 post engagements, 11 new page likes, and we've reached 317. So, you know, there's things have been a little bit calm, but as we kind of get ready for the conference today, we definitely see more reach. Our MGM post reached 203 people with 60 engagements. So that was very good. So Facebook is going well. And like Gavin was saying about sending him material, we can also put it on our Facebook to really promote and share what's happening, not only with your peers across the state, but you know, it catches the eye of a lot of people across the nation as well. I know every time we have Lisa, she recently had, was it some moose, I believe, in Haines? And that always gets people's interest across the nation because a lot of people like us follow other state associations just to see what's going on. So it's fun to share what school nutrition looks like in Alaska.
Cool, thank you. We'd just like to announce that we have booked the BP Center for the 54th annual conference. We're anticipating that we will be able to do an in-person conference, and it will be held that last week of January in 2022 with the pre-conference starting on January 24th. We're going to offer Serve Safe, and usually we try to do another class that could get you either up to a level 2, level 3. I'm not sure if we'll do the SNA testing. Not sure what the actual title of that is, but if there's anyone interested in wanting to take the SNA test, we'll offer that. What else? We'll have an awards banquet, which is always so much fun. On the January 26th, we're not sure where we're going to have that. And then the vendor show will be January 27th at the Egan Convention Center. So mark your calendar for that. Hopefully it will take place. If not, we'll do another virtual one. So I need to go on to the bylaws committee report. We had some changes in our bylaws. They're highlighted here in yellow. Now our officers are elected at the annual state conference and are installed on August 1st of the year. In past years, they've been installed in that last week of January during the conference, and it just doesn't line up with the national timeline. So we're changing that. We still will have the election, but in January, but they won't be sworn in until August. And then another 2 changes were the term limits for the president and the president-elect. We went from a 2-year term limit to a 1-year because if you're elected president, it's you're president-elect and then you're president and then you're past president. So you're 3-year commitment. So did you want something, Joe? No? Okay. So we added our mission too. These are our mission statements that we came with. We had a retreat a few years back, and our mission is advancing the quality of nutrition programs in Alaska through education, advocacy, and engagement. And our vision is feeding Alaskan children's body, mind, and spirit by promoting high quality nutrition programs and wellness education. And our values, they spell out child, and it's child nutrition, advocacy, and leadership, honor Alaska's unique and rich cultural diversity, inclusive of the whole child, lead with integrity, respect, and transparency, and dedicated to lifelong health and wellness. So as a board, we're very proud of that mission statement. It took us 2 days to come up with it, but I think it embodies what AKSNA stands for. Also, election results. We had 2 positions that we needed to fill, and they both were nominated unopposed and therefore elected. We have President-elect Trevor Bridgewater, who will become effective August 1st of 2020. I have 2021, but I don't think that's right. I think it's 2022. No, he'll become president-elect 2021. Yes. And then he'll become president in 2022. And then Gavin Northey will become the treasurer. That again is effective August 1st, 2021. We have 2 members of the board leaving. We have Walter Williams, who is retiring, and Yanita Ivanov has just stepped down for the time being. And then we have some new committee appointments. We have Adrienne Schwartz. She will be appointed to the membership chair, and she's replacing Trevor Bridgewater. And Jennifer Muse will be appointed to the public Policy and Legislation Chair, replacing Bethy Weiland, who's stepping down. And then Teresa Wilson and Bethy Whalen will be appointed to members at large effective August 1st, 2021. And that leaves one of our positions still vacant, and that's the Nutrition Education and Professional Development. That's the position that Walter Williams has held for a few years now. So that's still vacant. So if anybody's interested, please let me or Sandy Ponte know. So at this point, we need to take a vote on a consent agenda.
This is
So-
Sandy. Oh,
Go ahead.
I move to that the consent agenda be passed without discussion.
Okay, thank you.
This is Trevor. I second that motion.
Thank you. So if all the AKSNA members would write in the chat box, yes or no, so we can take a vote that way. Since we're not in person.
All yeses down the line.
Okay, thank you.
So far.
And
All
one
right.
eye.
Aye, there you go.
Arr.
Arr. All right, so the consent agenda has been voted passed. So go on to our vendor show. I really wanted to take a time out to thank all of our vendors who signed up for the virtual vendor show. We have Charlie's Produce, who is our diamond level, and then Sunny Fresh, Cargill, Wild Mike's Pizza, National Food Group are gold, along with JG Neal Company and D. Tomaso. And then we have several silver level participants. So if you just take the time to go in and look at the virtual vendor, I think it's called the Virtual Expo. That's what Gavin's calling it. Just to take the time to look, click on their booth, go inside their booth, look at the little video that they made. A lot of them have product descriptions. So it's like stopping at the booth and talking to them, but you're just doing it virtually. And there's contact information either with the broker or the processor directly. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of them. They're eagerly standing by. They'd really, really like to hear from you. If you have any questions about new products that are coming up for school year 22, they would really like to hear from you. So let's show our support to them. So now we're going to talk about the SNA Awards program. This is your opportunity to nominate a colleague that you admire, someone that is doing just an outstanding job in their position. There is a form on the School Nutrition Association's website. If you go to this website right here, /awards, it will take you to that form. It has to be filled out and sent to the School Nutrition Association. They vet they look over the application and then they send it back to us at a state level. So it has to go to them first, then back to us. So if you're interested in that and you want to do that and you're having troubles trying to figure out what to do, just let me or Joe or Sandy know, and we'll help you as much as we can. And in a sad note, we lost Rocky James this year. He was the food service director for the Yukon Flats region. He was remembered for his devotion to all the students within the Yukon Flats region and his creative menus. Anyone who knew Rocky knows he was very special, and he will be missed. So let me see, going on to a I have to change screens here, so be patient here. Now I can't get out of full screen. Okay. All right. Now we're going on to the award ceremony. We usually do this during our big awards banquet night, but we're not having that. So this year, every year we select someone who we think is worthy of the Dean Hamburg Award. If anyone isn't familiar with Dean, he was a food service director for the Kenai Peninsula School District for years, and he was a very active AKSNA member. He was very vocal. He would go to every year, go to Washington, D.C. and fight for Alaska. And that's a picture of Dean, along with Tanya Dube, who was our president at the time. And I believe that's Dawn Young, and then Walter's wife, Walter, and then Chris Johnson. And they would go every year and storm on Washington, D.C. So I don't know if I can reach it here. So this is, I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you guys see it? Kinda. This is the plaque that we're going to be sending Walter, and it says, the Alaska School Nutrition Association, Walter Williams, the Dean Hamburg Award for your commitment and dedication to school nutrition. So we'd like to thank Walter. He's going to be very missed. I wrote down a little, not too much, but he was a nutrition specialist for the Southwest Region School District, and he's retiring after 21 years in school nutrition. Walter's district serves 650 students a day at 8 different schools with an area spanning 23,000 square miles, which is about the size of West Virginia, which is mind-boggling if you think about it. Walter found his job while in school nutrition while he was working on the North Slope oil fields because he wanted to spend more time with his family. He's very devoted to his family. Walter plans on mastering carpentry during his retirement by making picture frames from wood from his grandmother's house. I thought that was pretty cool. Walter, you will be missed by all, and we wish you a very happy retirement. Do you want to say a few words, Walter, or are you going to be bashful? We'll get this to you in the mail, your plaque.
Unmute yourself, Walter.
Walter. Is he even on still? He was here.
Yeah,
at the
he's here.
beginning.
He's just muted.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm shocked because there's no way I would have imagined in my wildest dream of getting a Dean Hamburg Award.
You deserve it.
I'm devoted, but not that devoted.
Oh, you deserve it, buddy.
Yeah, but I'm real shocked about the award. But thanks. It's been a great ride, and I'm enjoying, retirement, with the grandkids and stuff, and they still keep questioning me week after week, when will I be leaving? And I'm telling them I'm in for a long while. I'm not flying back out. So I'm
you're home for a while.
This is a career that I want to stick with until I leave this earth. So I'm really enjoying this career field. Retirement. This is I'm gonna miss all of you all too. It's been great, working with you, and so it's been a great ride.
We're gonna miss you too, Walter.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, and we'll get that plaque to you through the mail.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So now we have, let's see, who is it? Probably should have brought these closer to me. We have our AKSNA School Director of the Year, which is Amy Rouse. And Amy doesn't have a mic, so she can't talk. But Amy is a nutrition service director for the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. She's been there for over 13 years. She uses her social media to promote the district's meal programs and supports her staff to participate in education and training programs. So we appreciate Amy. And since you don't have a mic, I'm not going to make you talk, but we will send this to you. See, there you go, Amy. So congratulations to Amy. Well deserved. Oh, not only did she get the state, she got the regional. So she was regional. Forgot about that. Yeah. And next we have Mama Bear, Michelle Powers, as the manager of the year. And Michelle works for the Anchorage School District. She started with the district as a cashier and worked her way up to manager and is now student nutrition operations supervisor. Michelle was instrumental in getting the district to initiate a meal program at the alternative high school that had been unserved due to low enrollment. So hats off to you, Michelle. You want to say a few words?
Really?
Lots of words. I am shocked.
I didn't know this was going to happen, but I would like to say thank you, Sue, for this alarming surprise. No, it's.
Oh, I got a better surprise for you. I forgot to scroll down here. Wait.
Oh, okay.
I stalked your Facebook and got a picture of you.
Oh, God. That's when I was in Italy. Yeah, those were good times. Going back.
I love that.
As a matter of fact, I almost left a few months ago to go back.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, this is too much. But honestly, I would just like to say that it's fabulous working with all of you and all of my coworkers here at Student Nutrition. I work with a wonderful group of people. I have a great team of people that work under me that are really out on the front lines doing all of the work, the really important hard work. And I just want to give them all a round of applause and thank them so much. We have a great support with SN Admin and Gavin and Jen and their team. And you know, I don't do this on my own. There's a whole group of us, and thank you all for your support and everything you do to make, to feed kids. That's our goal. That's what we want to do. That's our mission. And it's just really been a pleasure. I am hoping to retire, Walter, in the next, I keep telling everybody a year or two because I don't want to commit to when I'm really going to do it, but I am going to do it. I promise you. Susan always says, Michelle, you keep saying 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. But it's going to happen, guys. It is going to happen eventually. So thank you so much.
It's a great.
Thanks. Thank you, Michelle. I need to go back and show everybody a picture of Amy. That's Amy from Fairbanks. She got the Director of the Year and the Northwest Regional Director of the Year.
Yay, that's such a good picture.
Yes.
I will just speak for Amy and say, you rock. You are amazing. You've done a fabulous job, Amy. I mean, I am just so proud of you and the accomplishments that you have done in Fairbanks and the things that you and your team have done this year. I know it's not easy, and I really want to congratulate you.
Thank you. Well said, Michelle. And then we have our President Award, and I selected Gavin Northey because he has put in hours and hours and hours and hours of getting the website up and running, and he's just always there when you need him, and he's just a fantastic guy. And I appreciate everything you do, and I know the board appreciates, and everybody should appreciate everything you do. So, Gavin, you want to say a few words, buddy?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Really enjoyed the opportunity to serve serve AKSNA and serve our mission. This year has been quite a challenging year. I'm sure all of us know that, but just to be able to be a part of an association that furthers the mission, not only within the Anchorage School District, but for the whole state, and really tried to push us forward, has been a great opportunity. And so I appreciate the award and recognition.
You're welcome. We appreciate you. Okay. So the next on the agenda is member services. So that's Trevor. You want to start doing your presentation?
Sure. I don't have a PowerPoint. I'm just going to read off some stats and remind everybody about the membership challenges. So, Bridgewater Member Services Chair. Currently, we have 83 active members for AKSNA on the rolls with SNA. That's pretty much maintained throughout the year. I was able to, with Walter Williams's help, be able to get that district down there set up and renewed so that we could maintain our membership numbers. If anybody has any issues with renewing their memberships or questions about what there's the benefits of memberships, I'm more than happy to speak to you individually. Right now, there's always a push for a membership challenge, but the big one that SNA is pushing right now is the +1 challenge. And we've had our setups outside of conference in past years when we've gotten together with the great reasons why you love SNA. And one of them that I picked was the advocacy to advance and protect school nutrition programs. I also chose because we're now one voice for school nutrition. Being a member of our state organization allows us as a small state population-wise to be recognized with this national conversation of how our school nutrition programs are regulated. And being a member allows you that ability to have your voice heard for your students, for your school districts. So I encourage you, if you have people that are interested in memberships, to help them sign up. We've got great promotions going on. If you recruit at least one member, your +1 has the chance to entered in a chance to win a free ANC 2022 registration. So the annual national conference in 2022, you could get a free registration for that. It's just that in particular conference was my first year. Last year was the first time going to ANC, and I never really understood when people told me about the benefits of it secondhand. But being able to go to those national conferences, you really get exposed to a lot of experiences that you might not have the opportunity to in your district that other people are already figuring out. So it's that power of the group to fix problems and get solutions so that you're not having to recreate the wheel. So I encourage anyone who's not a member, or if you know someone who would like to join, to please reach out to me and we will get some new members signed up. One thing that we did as a board agree to do for our state members or new hires that are new directors or program managers in the state of Alaska, we're offering a free annual membership to AKSNA and SNA for 1 year if you just contact us to say that you're interested. So if anybody that's on this call who is a new program director or a new director for their district, you can reach out to us and we will get you set up with that annual membership for a year so that you can experience some of the benefits of SNA and being part of this community of AKSNA, and hopefully it will benefit your program. So please reach out. And that's all that the Member Services Committee has today.
Thank you, Trevor. Yes, we've had one person take advantage of the 1 year. So it's almost $149, I think, for a director. So, you know, it's a good value for the new member, and it's a way for us to expose you to the world of School Nutrition Association and AKSNA, like Trevor said. All right, thank you, Trevor. Moving on to the legislative updates. Is Bethy going to do that, or Jennifer? I wasn't quite sure.
We both are probably, so.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Tag team it, like we tag team everything.
Team, okay.
Wonderful. So the School Nutrition Association National every year writes a position paper that essentially takes the things that, as a national body, the things that school nutrition professionals have identified as really important things that we want to focus on this year. And they released this position paper, has 3 to 5 points on it. And it's kind of saying, this is what we're going for. This is what you should be asking for in terms of federal legislation from your representatives. And traditionally what we've done in Alaska is we've kind of received the national paper and looked at it and decided which of the points really hit home for us, because as we all know, a lot of what happens in Alaska sometimes doesn't have parallels downstates. And sometimes the things that are really important downstates maybe aren't issues up here in Alaska. So there's sometimes when that can happen. And so what we do is we look at this paper and we say, what are the things that we really want to focus on when we're talking to our federal congressional delegation. And so I'm going to go over the paper just pretty quickly. There's 4 main points on this year's paper, and I think that they're pretty broad, and so they kind of hit home here in Alaska too. A lot of it has to do with impacts from COVID. So the first part here is that they're calling to permanently expand National School Lunch and School Breakfast program to all student meals at no charge, to essentially do universal meals, universal feeding. And I think we've seen, as we have been able to implement under summer food service program, we've been able to expand the number of kids that we have who are eating. I personally, the district that I am at is a CEP district. And so essentially we do universal feeding. But I can absolutely see from you guys who don't work in CEP districts how burdensome applications, verification, the paperwork and reporting involved with that. And so really it feels like at this point, with having just been through a year of COVID, it seems more appropriate than ever a time to say, hey, kids do better learning when they're not hungry. And this is a really good time to emphasize that universal feeding is a way to both reduce administrative burden, which is the 4th point, but also just get nutritious food into more kids. So that's kind of that first point. The second point, providing emergency financial relief directly to SFAs. we've seen across the state and across the nation that there were some really big hits that that school nutrition programs have taken during COVID. We've had kids who normally would be eating at school who are not eating, or we've had increased costs of packing things to go. I mean, I know that, you know, we never used to have paper bags or something, and now you're packing everything to go. It's a lot more packaging. It's a lot more cost there. It's harder to do some of those cheaper meals if you're packing it to go. So a lot of that is just saying, it looks here, they did a survey and 62% of directors are anticipating a loss for this year that we're in now. And 28% said, we don't even know what to expect. And that's 90%. So that is 90% of people saying either we don't know what to expect or we're expecting something bad. That's huge, especially because a lot of our programs are running on such razor thin margins anyway, if we're not needing help from our districts to even remain alive. So this is something that's saying, like, the emergency funds in December will help some, but we need more. We need money, and we need it now. So that third point then is kind of in holding hands with the losses that we're seeing financially. We're also it's that participation decline. And because of that, we're worried about USDA entitlements and state administrative expense funds. A lot of what we do and a lot of the money we get kind of go hand in hand. So if you have lower participation, you're getting fewer USDA dollars the next year, because we're kind of rolling year after year on some of that funding. So this says, please don't, you need to be fair with us in terms of not punishing us now for lower participation last year. So using FY19 participation data to try to, as we're kind of coming out of this pandemic, not tanking our programs further by using the lower data that we all got. And then that fourth point, reducing regulatory and administrative burdens. This is one that shows up on the position paper year after year. It doesn't, it's always a good point to have, that's not to lessen the point that it's trying to make, that we need to make sure that child nutrition jobs are not overly burdensome so that we can't do them. And there was a reporting burden analysis study done in, I believe, 2019 that kind of looked at that and said, how long does it take to do all of these things that we're asking you to do? And is that preventing you from actually feeding kids? And in some cases it was. And so looking at that and implementing some of those recommendations from that study to say, okay, like, we were interested in if this was too much, and we found it was, but now we're not going to implement any of the recommendations. So we're saying, please, you looked at it, you studied it, now let's do the next step. Just in that kind of journey towards making sure that child nutrition professionals aren't so bogged down by regulatory and administrative stuff that they have to do, that we're unable to either see the bigger picture or we're unable to complete everything. And I know that in Alaska, especially with so many rural districts and smaller districts, we have several jobs, something in a larger district would be several different people and we'll have one person. Or, I know like a bunch of you guys are in the kitchens, either sometimes or all the time, making the food. And then also having to take that time to do all the paperwork and to understand the bigger picture on the back end. So that's kind of those 4 points of this year's position paper. And like I said, that's something where we usually take that and we, the people who are going to, go to LAC this year is to attend LAC virtually, as it is with so many other conferences. But we look at what are we going to hit home on when we're talking to our Alaskan delegation. What are the things that we're going to say, this is really a problem for us. And here's how you can support making it easier or better for us. So that's the position paper. Jen, do you want to chime in?
The only other thing I wanted to add is that having gone to Washington with Bethy, and you get about 15 minutes to go in and say all this stuff, but the things that really hit home with the legislators are a personal story. So if you have anything that's related to that and you want to tell it, call us up, send us an email. We went 2 years ago and talked about the earthquake, and sure enough, bills were introduced and claims were paid. And it was the story of Matsu that we just happened to learn during the conference that kind of made that happen. So, if you want to tell us what it's like, call us up, because the stories are actually, plus the data, but the stories are really what make the changes.
Right. And pictures too. Pictures are worth 1,000 words is so cliche, but it really is true. And I think that sometimes you can forget just how powerful that is when you're seeing what you're seeing every day, but you can forget how powerful that could be to someone who doesn't see that every day. I know that like sometimes I am just like, wow, that's pretty cool. When our buses go out to do meal delivery every day this year, we delivered to every home of everybody who wants it. And sometimes, and I think about that and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And like, that's a good story. And just having, the 5 buses in a line coming out of the bus yard is a cool picture to be able to say, yeah, on these buses, there's 800 meals that we're taking to kids every single day. And we're going up to their homes and knocking and dropping that meal on the doorstep and backing up and waiting until they get the meal and then running back on the bus and going 3 houses down and doing the same thing. But that can be really powerful. So pictures and story, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. All right. Well, thank you guys. Anything else? Well, it's time for another door prize. Actually, 2. Well, one isn't a door prize. We're going to do a door prize, and then we're going to draw for the possible ticket, I guess, to Chicago for SNA in July, if it happens. But we'll go ahead and draw for that. First one is this beautiful beautiful backpack. It's an AKSNA backpack, and we're going to fill it full of goodies for you and send it to you. And the number that came up was 40. So number 40 is Laura Holman with Anchorage School District.
Yay.
Are you? Is Laura here?
Woo, woo, woo. I'm not sure if Laura's on the call.
Yes, she is.
I'm
Come
right
on,
here.
Laura.
All right, there you go, girl.
Yes.
All right.
Woohoo!
Okay. All right. Well, boy, that's 2 Anchorage people. What's the deal with this? Okay. So we'll get that to you.
Thank you.
In the mail. You're welcome. And Laura Holman. All right. Now, for the registration, your hotel, your airfare, for practically everything to go to Chicago to the annual conference, if it happens, goes to number 34. You'll never. Laura Holman was on here twice. You know, sorry, I don't know how that happened, but
Doesn't she get to pick her prizes?
Yes, that's true. You get to pick which one you want, Laura. Do you want the possibility of going to Chicago, or do you want our backpack?
I'll take the backpack.
Okay.
Oh God, Laura, really? Come on, girl.
Going to you, Michelle.
That's
the other part.
funny. Okay, number 16. Rebecca Hall Valdez. Is she here? Rebecca, if you're on, can you unmute yourself? Darn. Okay, well, let's try it again here. Number 4. Melissa, I'm going to not pronounce this name right. Chulpuk, Chlupach. She's with the University of Alaska, Anchorage. If you're here, not seeing you anywhere.
If she was number 4, she's a definite overachiever, right? She gets on the call like a half hour early.
74. Oh, that's going to be a board member here, probably. 74. Oh, it's Joe. Never mind. I cannot give this away.
You cannot give that away, I swear.
11. Tammy Clancy. Are you here? Kenai School District?
Tammy's here. She just can't unmute herself.
Okay. I thought I saw her name. All right, Tammy. If we go to Chicago, you're going with us. You'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. All right. Okay. So that's all the door prizes and awards I have for today. So that concludes our annual business meeting, which ends at 2:23 p.m. I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question or comment or have anything to say? Go ahead and unmute yourself. You think it went okay today? Thumbs up.
Yes.
I did want to say that we've already gotten 2 people that have replied about the membership, so 2 more to that count.
That's fantastic. Great. Great.
I'll have to say, I've never seen Walter more relaxed.
I know. He's just chilling.
He's not even wearing a tie today.
He's sitting back with his glasses on.
Walter, retirement looks good on you.
We all want to retire.
I know.
Yeah. I got 2.5 years. I'm almost there. Almost there. And then it's going to be like dominoes after I leave. Then it's Joe and then Debbie and then who knows?
Yep.
Anne-Marie.
Wow. That's scary.
I know. I know.
Thanks for the warning.
We got plenty of notice on that one.
Oh, I don't know. I might have to work till I'm 67. So
Oh,
I'm not.
okay.
I'm not tier 1. I'm not, or tier 2.
I might be able to go out before you, Sue.
You might if I keep. Hey, if the stock market tanks, I will have to.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have the tier 1, 2, or 3, so I'm not. I'm tier 4. Basically, we get.
You're on your own. You're on your own, Sue.
Yeah, you better be making some good decisions.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, it's scary. I go in and check every so often, and it's like,
don't look now. Don't look during COVID. Don't look now.
Susan, that's tier forgotten. Tier forgotten.
That is so true. It is so true. It's like, and they wonder why they can't get anybody to work for the state, but that's a whole different ballgame. All right. Well,
Hey,
MGM,
Sue?
you got any?
Sue?
Yes. Oh, Gail.
I just wanted to say, hey, I'm glad I'm here. Typically, I'm always too busy putting together a vendor show, so I've never been able to be a part of the conference before. So this is great.
Know. Yeah, and we appreciate all your gift cards and everything that you and your vendors contributed. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Gail does a lot for AKSNA and Alaska schools in general. So we appreciate you, Gail.
Thank you.
Oh, Maureen, do you have anything? MGM, you got anything you want to say before we leave? There you go.
You're always excited.
Look out. Y'all, I can't wait to see you again on Thursday. I'm going to be here tomorrow too. But on Thursday, be there square because after 3 days, I'm going to be ready to turn it loose. So we're going to on Thursday, bring all the people that didn't come the first time. We get them on here and let's all come together. And if you could, I'd love it if you'd wear some red. Let's get some energy going.
Yeah.
Things to make noise with. I know we have to mute you because we can, but that doesn't mean you can't make noise in your own kitchen. So bring your pots and pans, whatever. Let's get her done. So I'm ready to thrive. I'm tired of us just surviving. 2020 was pitiful, and 2021 is not looking much better. But come on, let's get her done.
We will. All right. I'm excited. All right. Well, having said that, I don't think there's anything. Let me check the chat real quick and make sure nobody has asked any questions.
Red. This is exciting. Everybody's going to wear red. Yes.
I don't know if
what do you have? Kevin, your red tie? What's going to happen to you?
Just the energy.
I don't think I own anything red, actually.
Well, you got to get to the store. Okay.
Yeah. Get your red tie out there, guy. I know you have to have a red tie.
I don't actually, and I think the Men's Warehouse closed, so I'm like 5 days out.
Oh, jeez.
There you go.
Go get a red bandana and put it on there.
Red bandana. There you go.
Red bandana. Oh, I live for the day he does that.
Sandy, do you have any closing remarks you want to say as the up and coming president of AKSNA?
I just want to thank everybody for coming. I think it's been a good first day. I think it's going to be an excellent 2 more days.
Yeah.
And thanks for all the work you guys have done. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it went off smoother than I thought.
It did.
No technical difficulties.
Give it up for Sue and the whole team to put this together. Come on now. Yay.
Yeah, I had a lot of help.
Yay, Sue. You got through it. Yay.
Go, guys.
All right. We'll see you guys all tomorrow, 1 o'clock.